Hey everyone, Andrew Tillman here with ADSR Sounds. In this video, I'm going to be covering a slightly unique topic, and rather than talking strictly about Maschine, I want to cover an additional piece of hardware, the external audio interface. Now, why do I want to cover this? Well, in my opinion, besides the Maschine hardware models themselves, external audio interfaces are the most helpful and most useful additions to your home studio. So let's talk about number one, what these actually do. Number two, how you can integrate them with Maschine and why you might want to consider picking one up. And then finally, how you actually set the software to work with whatever interface you're using. So let's first talk about what these actually do. Well, I sort of group the operations of external interfaces into two categories. Number one, they take care of all of the conversion, and that means taking the analog signals, so maybe your inputs from microphones or turntables, and also your outputs to your headphones and your speakers, and converting between those and digital signals. And the digital signals are what Maschine and your computer actually use. So first of all, these take care of those conversions, and they also open up a whole new world of routing options. By routing options, I'm actually talking about the physical connections that you're able to use. So whereas on your laptop, you might just have a 1/8 inch aux port, on this external interface, for example, I have two XLR/1/4 inch combo inputs, I have a headphone output, and on the back, I have two 1/4 inch outputs for my studio monitors, as well as MIDI in and out. So lots more routing options, and ones that are a lot more industry standard as compared to the connections on your laptop or your computer. So why might a Maschine user want to consider an external interface? Well, if you're getting used to Maschine and you're starting to create a lot of your own music, you might want to consider one of these basically because they make your life a lot easier. So when I finally picked one of these up, I was blown away by how much easier everything seemed to work. I was used to using ACO for all, which is basically nothing more than a workaround. So everything would crash quite often. I would have glitches. I would have to make sure certain programs were open. So using one of these external interfaces really made my life a lot easier. In addition to that, I was able to use my nice microphone, or my relatively nice microphone, with the XLR connection and the 48 phantom power. And I was just really helpful. I really found it helpful that I had all these physical controls over my ins and outs. So it's not a necessity for a Maschine user, but it's really going to make things a lot easier, especially if you're trying to do a lot of routing in and out of different external components. Now, if you're into sampling, if you're into recording from microphones or turntables, one of these interfaces is really going to make your life easier. So if you're into a lot of recording, I would strongly consider one of these, and that's going to open up a lot of possibilities and just make things run a lot more smoothly. So that's what it means for a Maschine user, not necessity, but a great help and something to consider if you're looking to upgrade your home studio. Now finally, let's talk about how you work with Maschine to set one of these interfaces up. So all I have to do is head into the File menu up here, go down to Audio and MIDI Settings, and here you can select your device. So you can see all the way down here at the bottom, I have selected my Steinberg USB audio device. I have the options to control some of the settings within the ACO configuration menu, as well as the sample rate option over here. All this is going to depend on what you're trying to do with your setup and what works with your computer. Now over here on the routing tab, this might look pretty confusing, but basically it's just assigning Maschine names to your inputs and outputs on your interface. So as you can see here, I have two inputs, 1 and 2, and input number 1, this microphone here, is currently assigned to Maschine in number 1 on the left side, and input number 2 on my interface, which I don't actually have anything plugged into right now, that's assigned to the same number 1 input, but on the right side. So it's just giving Maschine a name that it can use to talk about the actual physical inputs. And it's the same thing for the outputs. I have the two outputs on the back for my studio monitors, and as you can see here, those just correspond to the left and right channels of output number 1. So pretty basic here. All you have to do is follow the labels within the menus, and you can set everything up in no time at all. In terms of specific recommendations, I have nothing but good things to say about my interface here, the Steinberg UR22. I've taken it across the country several times. It is all metal and it's been holding up just fine. Nothing to complain about here. You'd be great with the Native Instruments interface, as well as the Focusrite Scarlett series. Any of those will be totally fine. You can read reviews on whatever website you're familiar with. So that is all I wanted to say. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, as always, let me know. I'll get back to you. and I will have a more machine-specific related tutorial coming at you next week. So stay tuned, subscribe if you're interested in more videos, and as always, thank you for watching.